Censorship in video games has been big in the news lately, particularly pertaining to Nintendo of North America, and specifically talking about titles like Fatal Frame finally coming to the West, only in digital format, sadly, but having some of these sort of skimpy or promiscuous outfits taking out, and a similar situation with Xenoblade Chronicles, one of the characters, Xenoblade Chronicles X for the Wii U, one of the characters having some kind of skimpy outfits removed, and then we just found out recently that they also took out one of the customization features for the North American release of Xenoblade Chronicles X, which is sort of a breast scale, where you can enlarge or shrink and shape the size of the breast of the character that you create if you decide to create a female avatar. And in a lot of conversations following news articles talking about these types of things, I see lots of people who are outraged by the amount of censorship, just sort of being almost, just barraged in the comments by people saying, "Oh, you're perverts. You just want this, these skimpy outfits, and you just want to make a big-boobed anime character, and who cares?" And I think some people are missing the point where I feel like the majority of people, and I am in this camp, who are offended by this censorship are not necessarily offended by a lot of the specific content that is being censored. In some cases, yes, particularly with a handful of Vita games that I can think of, but with a lot of the sort of bigger, more well-known issues, stuff like Fatal Frame and Xenoblade Chronicles X, I think it's less of an issue of the specific content that's being censored and an issue that content is being censored. That's really where my problem comes in. I think that by now I would hope we'd be a little beyond censoring things. I could see there being a little bit more caution, particularly companies like Nintendo censoring or being cautious against content that is extreme. But I don't feel that the content that is being censored is necessary to be censored. It is moving into that censorship of art, censorship of freedom of speech issue. And yes, skimpy outfits, that's kind of a ridiculous thing, but at the same time, if you start with that, where do you end censorship? If you take out something because you think maybe some people might possibly be offended. Some people, a small portion, might be possibly offended by like half the content in games. Where do you end the censorship? It's not an issue of what is being censored, but the fact that censorship is ongoing. What do you guys think about that topic? Have you really given much thought lately, or do you just not care about censorship and you just don't bother? I do think that it is an issue to think about, especially in this type of internet age, talking about censorship in things like even just YouTube videos, and moving into video games and movies, and having content not be the same across the board. Depending on what country you live in, the version of something that you get might be different depending on the censorship laws in your country or the censorship practices of that branch of a business in your country, like Nintendo of North America. Censorship is something we need to be careful about, and I definitely think that companies like Nintendo are not putting the right foot forward, and they're kind of almost backtracking in a way.